I've never met anybody who didn't want to change their life, who didn't want to have the best circumstances. I've never met anybody who don't want to win in different areas of their life. So many people are so ready to improve their life, but they are not willing to change themselves, to improve themselves. People want a better life. People want better relationships. They want better finances. They want more money, but they're not willing to do something to change themselves in order to reach that. And so what happens? They stay stuck. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about intentionality. I want to talk about intentionality because I feel like that we are put on this earth to reach our potential. We're put on this earth to reach our potential. We're put on this earth to realize and go after the dreams and the goals that we were put here to do. I think we're all here for a purpose. We're all here for a purpose, and we all have a purpose. And we have been given gifts and talents by God. God has given us so many gifts and talents. God has given us ability, and we were all put here to do something. And that something is, all of that is the potential that we have. And we are here we're here to reach our potential. I don't think that God gives us the potential for us not to ever reach any of our potential. I don't believe that. I believe that God has given us potential to someday reach it. And whatever your potential is, it's not the same as somebody else's. You are only required to reach the potential that God has given you, not anybody else, only you. So in order to reach your goals, in order to have any type of success in this life, you gotta reach your potential. In order to do anything that you set out to do, and to do it to the best of your ability, and to magnify and glorify God, you have to reach your potential. Because God created you for good works. He created you to do something specific. And you can't do that unless you actually reach your potential. But I believe in order to reach your potential, you gotta grow. You gotta grow in whatever area of your life, whatever area that you are trying to reach your potential in, you got to grow in that area. And growth is something that just doesn't happen. You have to be intentional about your growth if you want to grow. In whatever area of your life, and I'm talking about whatever area in your life that you want to grow in, you got to really be intentional about it. If you want to be a better person, you got to grow in your character. If you want to advance in your career, if you want to be better at your job, you got to grow in your skills. It's all about growth. If you want to be a better husband, a better wife, or even a better parent, you got to grow in your relationship skills. If you want to be better in your money, be better in your finances, you got to grow in your ability to know how money works. And so it's all about growth in whatever area of your life. It's all about growing in that area. Because here's the thing, you can't change your life if you don't change something that you do every day. And so what that means is you gotta figure out a way and a plan to grow. You gotta change some things in your daily life in order to grow. And so a lot of us have goals. We have goals, and we focus on our goals. And that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. I set goals myself. But the thing about it is, I want to talk about this thing about goals versus growth, right? You can set goals all day long. And even if you reach your goals, the thing about it is, even if you reach your goals, you may not necessarily grow. You may not necessarily experience growth because goals are defined, are a set, defined destination. The goals are a set, defined thing that you are going after. And even if you reach your goals, you may not really experience growth. Because you can accomplish goals by any means. You can make a lot of money by any means. You can get rich by any means. But the thing about it is, even if you get rich, what if you get rich and you lose your family, or you get rich and you lose your wife or your husband because or you get rich and you don't have a relationship with your kids. So you can you reached your goal of getting rich, but you severed a lot of relationships in your life. You neglected a lot of relationships in your life in order to reach your goal. So you can reach your goal, but did you grow? Did you actually grow as a person? Did you grow in your skills and your abilities? Did you grow in your relationships? No, you didn't. And so the thing about it is, you want to really focus on growth. You want to focus on growing in whatever area. And if you grow, you'll hit your goal. Because see, you can still hit your goals if you focus on growth. If you just focus on growth, you can still hit all of your goals and grow at the same time. And so that's the one thing that's the difference between growth and goals. I believe you can do both, but you got to focus on growth first, and then let that allow you to lead you to hit your goals. Okay. Now, like I said, so many people, everybody, I've never met anybody who doesn't want to do anything, or even whether they do it or not. Now, they may not put forth the effort to change their life, but I've never met anybody who didn't want to change their life, who didn't want to have the best circumstances. I've never met anybody who don't want to win in different areas of their life. But the thing about it is, so many people are so ready to improve their life. So many people are so ready to improve their life, but they are not willing to change themselves, to improve themselves. So people want to change. People want a better life. People want better relationships. They want better finances. They want more money, but they're not willing to do something to change themselves in order to reach that. And so what happens? They stay stuck. They just stay in this cycle of not reaching their goals, not reaching their potential, and they stay in this cycle of mediocrity in that whatever that area is. And so the thing about it is, I think we all need to grow, and it's all about growth. It's all about growth. What are you doing to grow? And what I find a lot of times is, for a lot of people, they want to grow, but they fall into these traps. Now, there's a bunch of different traps that people fall into when it comes to growth. The first thing that people kind of fall into is they assume that, okay, I will just kind of automatically grow. Like, they assume that. People assume that they'll just automatically, like when you have a child, you'll just assume that I'll automatically be a good parent. Like it'll just automatically come. As I'm raising this child, I'll automatically be a good parent. And parenting is hard. I will tell you that. It's hard. But you can't assume that you're just going to automatically be good at it. You can't assume that just because I get married, with time, I'm going to be a good husband. You can't do that. You got to do something to grow yourself. You got to learn. You got to read. You got to study. You got to pray. You got to do some things. Take a class or something. You got to actually put some action behind it. You got to actually be intentional and do some things and learn how to be a better husband. Learn how to be a good husband. You got to actually do something. And so that's the one trap that people fall into, is they assume that it's going to automatically happen, that they're going to automatically get better at something. And that's not the case. You're not going to get better at it if you don't put any intention behind it. And so, you need to stop waiting to become the man that you want to be and start being the man that you want to be. Start being the person that you want to be. Don't wait. Start to be the person that you want to be, because you can be waiting forever. Because nobody is going to come help you. Nobody is going to come tell you that you need to and make you be better. Like, nobody's going to push you to be better other than yourself. And so that's something you got to do. The next thing is this: people fall into another trap that people fall into is just the knowledge piece. They don't know they want to grow in their life in a certain area in their life, but they just don't have the knowledge. They don't know where to get the knowledge. They don't even know where to start. They don't know what book to read. They don't know just where to even get started with trying to acquire the knowledge. But here's the thing: you got to know you have to start somewhere. And first of all, you got to be clear with what you want. You got to be clear with what you want. Like, what is your, and this is where the goal come in. The goal comes in. Okay, you got to set a specific goal. I want to be better at communicating. Let's just say if that's your goal. I want to be better at communicating. You got to, if you want to be better at communicating, now you have defined something clear that you want to go after. And when you do that, then you will start seeing things that you want to do. You'll know what books to read. You'll know what videos to watch. You'll know what podcasts to listen to when you know that I need to work on my communication. And so once you get clear with what you want, then the world responds with clarity. Like, once you get clear with what you want, you'll start seeing resources and things like that open up for you. But it first starts with you getting clear with what you want, because nobody can tell you what you want. You got to know what you want. Now the world can tell you a bunch of stuff, but is that really for you? You know what I'm saying? So you got to be clear with what you want, and then you'll start to know where you can get that knowledge once you're clear with what you want. Another trap that people fall into is timing. The timing, right? It's always, it's just not the right time. Or I gotta do this first and then I do that. Or it's not the right, I don't know when to start. And I got this going on, and I got that going on, and I got the kids and all this stuff that people, all these excuses pretty much that people say, I can't start right now because I got this going on, or this is not the right time to start. But here's the thing: it's never the right time to start. Like, never. It's never going to be the perfect time to start anything. A lot of people, some people want to start businesses, and they always trying to figure out the best time to start that business, or when they're trying to figure out the best way to do it. And really, there's no best time to start. Like, it's whenever you start. It's whenever you start. It's when I know you got to try to think about, money concerns, and I need this much amount of money and things like that. And whatever your tolerance is as far as money, that's something you got to figure out. But at the end of the day, regardless of the money or not, you got to get started. You got to figure out a way to get started even without the money. You got to figure out a way to start doing things that don't cost much. You got to start figuring out things that you can do for free, resources that you can get for free, some free sources. You can, go on YouTube. There's free videos on YouTube to teach you how to do stuff. Like, you got to figure out how to start doing things at whatever time, because it's never going to be a good time to start anything. You just got to start. Because here's the thing: the longer you wait to do something that you know you should do, then the better chance is that you will never do it, that you would never actually get to it. The greater the odds are that you'll actually do it, the longer you wait. And so you just got to get started. Because like I said, the reality is that you won't be able to get nothing done if you always wait till you all 100% ready. Like, nobody will do anything if you always wait till you're 100% ready, because you're never 100% ready. You're never ever 100% ready, right? And so you just got to start. When you know you want to start, you got to start. Okay, and let's talk about another trap that people fall into. Another trap that people fall into is, they know they need to grow in an area, but the trap that they fall into is they're afraid to make mistakes. Like, they're just so afraid to make mistakes. You can't worry about that. Like, you can't be so afraid to make mistakes that you won't do anything, because life is all about mistakes. Mistakes are gonna happen. That's how you learn. That's how you learn from mistakes. Somebody said it this way: a mistake is just another way of doing something. Like, and so you can expect to make mistakes. Like, you're not going to get away from that. You can expect to make mistakes, but just keep going. Make mistakes. That's where you're going to learn. That's where you're going to learn what to do and what not to do from those mistakes. You got to make mistakes. You didn't learn how to walk without falling, right? So when you was a baby and you started walking, you fail a lot. And that's just so you're going to fall. You're going to make mistakes. You just got to you got to get past that. You got to get that out your mind and know that mistakes is a part of life. And so you just got to go through it. Another thing is that, and this is what I do. This is me here. Another trap that people fall into is perfection, right? I'm a perfectionist. They got to find the best way to do something before they even start. They got to find everything got to be perfect. Everything got to be lined up for you to even get started. That's being a perfectionist. Again, being a perfectionist will make you never do anything because you will never get started because you just waiting on everything to line up. You waiting on everything to be perfect. You waiting on to have all the things you need to have. You waiting on to have the amount of money that you need to have. Like all of that. All of that is perfection. And perfection will hold you back. You'll never get anything done. You got to start sloppy. You got to start messy. You got to start chaotic. You just got to start. Like you just got to go for it. And don't worry about what it looks like because you can improve on things as you go. You can improve on things as you go. And so don't worry about being perfect at anything. And I'm preaching to myself on this one because I'm such a perfectionist. I want things to be so perfect and I have a vision for how I want things. But sometimes I just I gotta forget about all that and just do something. And just put it out there. And so a lot of people face that, this thing of perfection. The other thing is inspiration, and this is another trap that people fall into. They feel like they need to have a certain inspiration to start growing in their life, to start doing something. Like they feel like they got to be inspired by, and I get it. Inspiration will definitely make you grow in your life. Like if you're inspired to get your money right by whatever inspires you. If you're inspired to get your money right, you'll learn what to do to get your money right. It'll definitely inspire you. But even if you're not inspired, even if you can't find inspiration, you still need to get your money right. You still need to grow and save your money, right? And you still need to get that knowledge on how to be financially fit and financially secure. And so sometimes you won't even get let the inspiration just be because you just need money. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you're not going to always have this big, grand inspiration come down from heaven to tell you you need to get better at this or that. And so a lot of people, they don't have the inspiration to drive them to do something. But you still that's a trap. That's a trap. Because every day you wake up, you're not going to always be inspired to do anything. But you got to keep going. And so whatever you know you should do, just do it. Just do it. Are you tired of feeling overwhelmed? Do you find yourself constantly battling negative thoughts? Well, I created a resource that I believe that can help. The majority of fights in life are fought in our head. And so the question is, how can we start to win these battles? Well, that's why I created a 7-day Bible plan called Mind Over Matter, Winning the Battle in Your Mind. This is a 7-day Bible plan that helps us learn how to combat the negative thoughts and get rid of irrational beliefs and begin to win the battle in our minds using God's Word as our strategy. Imagine waking up feeling empowered and ready to conquer any challenge that comes your way. When you win the battle in your mind, when you have mind over matter, you can do just that. You'll learn how to reframe your thoughts, replace self-doubt with self-belief, and develop a positive mindset that will lead you in the right direction. The 7-day plan is called Mind Over Matter, Winning the Battle in Your Mind. There's a link in the description below. You can click on that link and get the 7-day plan delivered to your inbox every day for 7 straight days. just use the link in the description below to sign up and start winning the battle in your mind. And then here's the last thing that I'll say about this. The last thing, the last reason why people don't grow is because they fall into the trap of these expectations. Like they start to grow, they start to do things, they start to, try to grow in an area, and they have a plan and whatever, and they follow through on the plan, but it's harder than they thought, or it takes longer to develop, right? It takes longer to develop in whatever you're trying to do. And they it's like, man, I thought this would be easier. I thought it would be easier to learn how to manage my emotions, right? And then they get frustrated. I thought it would be easier to get healthy, grow in my health. I thought it would be easier. And then they get frustrated and they quit, because if they thought it would be easier, they fall into that trap of the expectation that it will be easier. But the thing about it is, anything worth having, anything worth doing is a lot of times not easy. There's a lot of times not easy. Like everything that's worth having is all uphill. Everything that's worth achieving is all an uphill battle. And so, no, it's not going to be easy, because if it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was so easy, everybody would do it, right? And I'm not saying that something needs to be super hard that you can't even achieve it. I'm not saying that at all. But it's not super easy either. It's going to require some work. It's going to require some dedication. It's going to require some determination. It's going to require some effort from you. And it's going to require you to be intentional. And so we're talking about intentionality. I'm talking about being intentional and going after the things that you want. Being intentional and getting better in the different areas of life that you want to get better at. Growing in the different areas. It takes intentionality. It takes intentionality. And that's what I'm talking about. Like easy things that are easy, it doesn't take you to be intentional. Like you don't have to be intentional for something that's so easy, because it can just come, right? And so when we're talking about intentionality, that implies that something is hard, right? That already lets you know that it must be a little bit hard if you got to be intentional about it, because you don't have to be intentional about things that are so simple and easy. And so we're talking about being intentional, right? And so you got to think about it, because here's the thing. Nothing happens overnight. Nothing happens. You cannot achieve whatever your goals are. You can't achieve them overnight. And if you do, your goal, you need to get some better goals. If you can do everything that you want to do overnight, then your goals are not big enough. Your dreams are not big enough. But you can't change where you're going overnight. Right? But I can tell you what you can do overnight. You can make up your mind. You can do that overnight. You can do that immediately. You can do that today. You can make up your mind today about the direction that you're going. You can make up your mind today that you are going to start growing in some area of your life. You can make up your mind today that you're going to start growing to be a better husband or a better wife. You can make up in your mind today that you're going to grow and start being a better parent. You can make up in your mind today that you're going to grow in your spirituality. If you're going to grow in your spiritual maturity, that you're going to grow in your faith. You can make up your mind today. You may not wake up tomorrow and be the best spiritually mature Christian, but you can make up your mind today that you're going to start growing. You're going to start having a Bible plan, and you start reading your Bible. You can make up in your mind today that you're going to focus on some area that you want to get better at. You can make up your mind today. That can happen now. But you got to ask yourself some questions. You got to ask yourself these big questions. Ask yourself, where do I want to go in life? Like, where do I want to go? Where do I see myself? Ask yourself that question. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? Who do you want to be? What do you want to get better at? You got to ask yourself these things, because that is going to determine what you do. Like I said earlier, people fall into the trap of not knowing what they want to do. People fall into the trap of not having the knowledge, but you can't get the knowledge until you know what you want to do. Like I said, you don't even know what books to read if you don't know what you want to do. And so you got to know what you want to do in life. You got to know, where do you want to go? What's your path? What's your plan? You got to know that. You got to know what direction that you want to go in, because there's many directions you can go in, but you got to know which one is for you, because it's all about reaching your potential. And so what direction that you want to go in life that will enable you and allow you to reach your potential, not somebody else's. What will allow you to reach your potential? And then I want you to do this. I want you to imagine. I do this all the time. I want you to imagine how far you can go. Just imagine how far you can go in your life. Just imagine that. Right? And so we're talking about being intentional. And be intentional. Do it now. Do it today. Be intentional. Be intentional. If you want to be a better listener, be intentional. Start doing stuff to help you to be a better listener. Like, do it now. Just be intentional. Now, a lot of times, here's the thing that holds a lot of us back from growing. We got to get over our fears. We got to get over our fears. The number one thing is just fear of failure. Sometimes people don't go after things and people don't try to improve because they have a fear of failure. What if I fail at this? What if I try and what if I fail? But here's the thing. You got to change your relationship with failure. You have to change your relationship with failure. Because failure is a part of life, and failure is a part of success. Like, you can't be successful at something until you fail at it. Failure is a part of it. Failure is something that you're going to experience on the way to success. And so you have to change your relationship with failure, because that's how you learn. That's how you learn what not to do. That's how you learn from the mistakes that you make. That's how you learn to do it better next time. That's how you learn, don't do it like this, do it like that. Don't go this way, go this way. That's how you learn. So you got to change your relationship with failure, because failure is just there to help you to see what to do different so you can get it right. And you gotta not be afraid of the unknown. Like, a lot of us are so secure in what we already know. Like, we feel security in what we already know. But you gotta be able to step out into the unknown and learn something new. Be open and be vulnerable to learn something new. Be open and be vulnerable to looking like you don't know what you're doing. Like, that's a lot of people's problem there about why they don't want to grow, because they're afraid that other people, they're afraid to look dumb. They're afraid to look like they don't know what they want to. They're like they don't know what they're doing. Like, men, we have a big problem with this. Men have a big problem with this, because sometimes men don't go to counseling, or don't go to therapy, or don't get coaching, or don't do certain things because we're afraid to let people know that we don't know what we're doing. Like, we're afraid to get help. And that's the problem. You can't be afraid to get help. You can't be worried about people thinking that you don't know what you're doing, because here's the thing, you don't know what you're doing. You just need to admit that. Like, you need to admit that you don't know what you're doing. You need to admit that you don't know what you're doing in this relationship, that you don't know how to best provide in this relationship. You need to face that fact. You need to face the fact that I don't know how to be a daddy. I don't know what I'm doing. I got this child and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to raise this teenager and I have no idea what I'm doing. You need to admit that, so that you can get the help, and so that you can learn, and so you can get the resources, so you can be better, so you can learn and grow and be better. And so here's the other thing too. A lot of people are afraid of that they don't have the money to grow in the area in their life. Like they're afraid that they're going to overextend themselves financially. Like they're just afraid that they don't have the money or the funds to actually get to grow. Like, and I know you may be thinking, oh, well, I don't have the money to go to a conference, because conferences can be expensive. I don't have the money. I want to go to this conference, but I don't have the money. I don't have the money to go to this workshop or this seminar or whatever. I don't have the money to do this. But here's the thing. You don't necessarily need a lot of money to learn and improve and grow and get better at something. Like there's all kind of free resources. Like YouTube is free. There's all kind of YouTube videos. You can go on YouTube and search whatever you want to get better at. You can search on YouTube. If you want to get better at your job, whatever your job is, I'm sure you can type that into YouTube and find out how do I be a better whatever you are, right? How can I learn how to work on computers? Whatever it is, like you can Google it. You can go on YouTube, and there's tons of free, millions and millions of free videos on YouTube that you can learn. If you want to learn how to tie a tie, you can go on YouTube. How to tie a tie, how to change a tire, how to change a flat tire, like whatever you want to learn. Whatever you want to learn. If you want to learn about marital stuff, how to be a better spouse, that you can even look that up on YouTube. You can look up anything on YouTube. It's free. So you can start there. Podcasts are free. All you need is a podcast player. All you need is Apple or Spotify or whatever on your phone. That's all you need. And podcasts are free. And there's so many podcasts that if you want to learn how to, a lot of podcasts I listen to I listen to a lot of business and leadership podcasts. If you want to be a better leader, or if you want to be better in business, or if you want to learn how to be an entrepreneur, all of that is in you can find a podcast and you can start listening and you can start growing and getting better today. You can start getting free information today. You can start getting strategy for how to start a business on a podcast, and it's free. You can start that today. You don't need no money to do that. So you can start there. YouTube and podcasts, that's free information all day, free chicken all day, right there. And then the next thing is books. Books are not that expensive. $20 book. Books are like $20. And if you get an ebook, that's even some ebooks are even cheaper than that, $9, $10. So you don't have to have thousands of dollars to start growing, to start learning things. You don't need a lot of money to start learning. And so I just eliminated all of your excuses right there. All of your fears of whether you're gonna have the money or not. I just eliminated that for you. Because you got some free options, and then you got some low cost options in books. And then once you get more money, yes, there's classes and courses and all that you can do to grow and learn. Because I know things like that cost. Classes like college costs money. To go back to school to learn something that costs money, right? But I just gave you a bunch of free things that you can even start right now. And then another thing is this: a lot of people are afraid or fear what other people might say or think about them. And again, it goes back to you're afraid to let people know that you don't know what you're doing. You're afraid to let people know that you need to grow and learn in the area. But you do, because we don't know everything. You don't know everything. You don't know everything. And so if you want to learn, if you want to grow, and you want to get better, you got to be humble, you got to be vulnerable, and you got to seek out the knowledge. You have to be intentional about your growth. You just got to be intentional about it, because you're not going to accidentally grow. You're not going to accidentally get better at something. So you got to be intentional about it, and you got to plan to do it, and you got to start today. Don't wait. Start today. Don't wait for growth to come, because it's not coming by itself. You got to start. You got to take complete responsibility of your growth, because it's up to you. It's up to you. Because in the long run, our lives are shaped by our ability to grow and reach our potential.